Hello, my sexy muffins, and I know this is the third video today, and this one's made off last minute, but I wanted to address and put this at the front of my channel because a lot of people, when I'm writing fanfics and write a character who is asexual, and I explain it multiple times and they still say, no, this character can't be interested or have sex because they are asexual. Now, this is the biggest myth that asexuals have. Well, one of them. There's a few other ones. We won't get into those today. And the ace umbrella falls into more categories. The two I'm going to be talking about specifically are asexual and demisexual. And as you can see, I'm a demisexual panromantic. And I have done research on what ace and have talked to... I have friends that are ace and I have talked to people online that are ace and got different opinions. So this is not just my opinion. This is stretched out to at least 50 different people. Not the whole community, but a range enough to get a feeling of what is. And also I'm on the Reddits for ace and such, and they have come out and said that it is, that a lot of them have said this is accurate for what it is. But just big thing, sexuality is not fluid, but sexuality has a wide spectrum. Because, as I'm going to use my example for me right now, I am on the extreme, well, let's say right side. Left is basically sex repulse, right side is sex positive side. I'm a demisexual panromantic. I simp over fictional characters really, really hard. And yeah, but if I met them in real life, I'd be like, ew, no, I don't want none of that. But I would still be like, hey, if it's worth the, like, if I was in the mood because I'm sex positive and hypersexual, that it makes it so I do enjoy the physical act of sex, even though I'm not sexually attracted to someone. I'll get into a story time about that later. But it basically means I can choose to have sex with someone without being sexually attracted to them. Big shocker. You don't have to be sexually attracted to someone to have sex. You just don't. You don't even have to have a sex drive to have sex, because you know how easy it is for a guy to get an erection. There's been gay men who have sex with women. Doesn't make any less of a gay man because they had sex with women. But sex is not just who you have sex with, doesn't mean you're attracted to them, because you can force your body to have pleasure. This is where the whole conditioning for trying to change your sexuality with the whatever, I can't remember what the word is called, where they try to cure you of your gayness. They actually shock you and shit to try and fix you, to tell your body when you're feeling that pleasure in your brain at seeing two gay men kissing, if you're gay, that it sends a shock and tries to fix you so you don't get arousal. That's basically what it is. Training your body to not be aroused, which you can do, and you can train your body to be aroused even though you're not sexually attracted to it. Now, asexuals and demisexuals don't train themselves. They just how they are. And some, like me, are sex positive and hypersexual and have such a high libido that we have painfully uncomfortable when we're not sexually attracted to someone. Demisexual definition is you are half between asexual and regular sexuality. Basically, when you meet the right person and you get that deep, meaningful connection, which for some people it can happen in a few hours, and for most it happens in a few years, but it happens at everything different, which is why, again, wide spectrum. And that is the wide spectrum of it all, that everyone has their own range of how they get connected to people and where they're comfortable at on having sex or not, because you can choose to have sex without being sexually attracted to someone. I cannot stress that enough. So, if I were to meet a fictional character that I sent for and was sexually attracted, air quotes around it because it's fictional, so it's just fantasy. Fantasy is safe for asexuals and demisexuals. We don't... Hell, I know a lot of asexuals who are sex repulsed who do sex role plays. I have done a few of them, and they're some of the freakiest people, but they've never done anything and never want to do anything in real life. Because it's fantasy, it's safe. And that's where a lot of Ace and Demis go with their stuff, is fantasy role plays, fan fictions, etc. Some people nerd out on D&D, some people do art, it's a great community, really. Really, honestly, asexuals and demisexuals are some of my best kind of friends. I have a demisexual friend, I have two asexual friends, and a gender fluid, someone that I can't remember, but she's somewhere under the Ace umbrella, not Demi or Ace. Because the Ace umbrella has a ton of different subcategories, basically, of sexuality that technically are all under the umbrella word of asexuality. So, let's use Alistair from Has-Been Hotel as an example. A lot of people have said with him, because at some point Vivzy Pop has said, or the community has said, that he's asexual. And when I write him, for example, this is the trouble I've had, that people say, oh, he wouldn't be sexually attracted because he's ace. Which, yes, but also not fully. Because I did a base headcanons on him, and it basically, if he was sexually attracted to someone, it would be by moods that he's in, because I put it as he's a demon. So he would possibly, and dear demon, so he might go through a mating season and be struck with a mood, which asexuals are struck with moods of, oh, I want to have sex. It's like basically your libido going up and down. Or getting with a mood, which I'll get into more detail in a second. Or in some cases, since it was a yandere base headcanons of asexual Alistair, that he would use sex for control, which he's choosing to have sex again, choosing. And it's not because this partner made him fixed, because asexuals do not need to be fixed, demisexuals do not need to be fixed. No one of any sexuality other than those maps people, minor attracted persons, whatever they are, call themselves, need to be fixed, because they need to be fixed. No one else needs to be fixed. And that's basically that. So I don't know how many times I have to say this, but I'll go on and continue to. I'm sorry, I'm scatterbrained. I'm trying to think of all. I should have jot down notes. So in this case, you can choose to have it because he's choosing it for power and such. Now, I understand that Alistair is not fully canon on what his sexuality is. Vivzy Putt might have changed a few things. Hell, in the past of his canon character, when she was creating him, he had a girlfriend, Mimsy. Now, Alistair could be aromantic or aro ace or whatever. But sorry, my phone's going off. So, as I was saying, so that is basically how it is. That you can, okay, I'm scatterbrained, 1 second, let me catch up. Okay, I said that. Okay, as asexual, there's too far left, which is sex repulsed, and then sex positive, and then in the middle you can be different kind of ranges. Depends on your libido, your interest in the physical act of sex. If your partner wants to have sex and you want to make your partner happy and do what your partner wants, but they also respect your boundaries, there's a long range of asexual and demisexuals that choose to have sex for various reasons. Now, asexuals is a lack of sexual attraction. Some people have no sexual attraction at all, but a good amount have a lack of sexual attraction, which sometimes you can be hit into a mood of being into that mood of being sexually attracted to someone of sexually, So I know I'm not getting enough good words. I am sorry. And those good moods can be from things like talking about your favorite fandom and having an intellectual conversation. An intellectual conversation. Or just vibing, or if you are looking for a parent figure, not in yourself, but someone who's good with kids because you have a kid, and you see this guy or girl being really good with their kid, that might be like, ooh, suddenly hit by the libido punch. We all know what the libido punch is if you're ace or demisexual, and you're just, bam, instant attraction that goes away, usually pretty fast. As we know, it is, for asexuals, it's like a mood. And it doesn't happen to all of them, so don't take me by this word that this is all asexuals are. But some asexuals are hit by a mood where they're like, oh, I'm interested in this now, but a lot of them are not. But they still can choose to have sex. Some have partners that are hypersexual, and they want to satisfy their partner. They can still physically enjoy act, because thank the Lord, because this is the best line that ever's been in a TV, and if it was actually done by an asexual person who liked sex, it would be golden. Sex is a physical act. It's like playing tennis. Let's play tennis. From Friends with Benefits. And that takes on a whole new level when you're talking about Ace and Demi, because sex is a physical act. It literally is just a physical act, and they can choose to do it if they want to, or choose to not to. They can still physically enjoy sex because it's a physical, biological reaction. Like when you wake up with morning wood or wake up wet. You can't help that. That's how your body responds. Or how you have a sexy dream, even if you're not sexually attracted to someone. That happens. It happens. It just happens. And we need to break the stigma and the stereotype that asexuals and demisexuals can't have sex, or anyone in the category can't have sex. Because it's ridiculous. And so a lot of asexuals go after, that I know and that I've been in contact with, and on things they like simping over fictional characters. But some don't. Some just like characters because they're really cool. Like, oh, they can wield two swords and are double-handed for swords. That is what gets them going in excitement. Not sexual excitement. Because there are some that are like that, are completely oblivious. Well, actually, with asexual, there's more obliviousness. With just being oblivious to everything that could be perceived as sexual, such as people who listen to songs like "My Milkshake Brings All the Boys to the Yard." Literally, a lot of aces and demis thought that was a song about milkshakes, and you would charge real life milkshakes. But if you listen to a lot of them in age, figure out, oh, they were talking about the other milkshakes. And we oblivious to that sometimes. And sometimes that's what asexuals and demisexuals are. Some are oblivious. Some are completely sex repulsed, where they want nothing to do with sex. And it actually grosses them out and physically repulses them. I have a friend, I won't say who. She lives in New York, but she is demisexual, but she's more on the spectrum of sex repulsed asexual. When she's not in the mood with her partner, she is, or with her partner that is this great guy and they're sexually attracted, but when she's not in the mood because she is sexually attracted to him, but she has to be in the physical mood, hit with that libido, otherwise it doesn't work. She still finds him sexy, but that's just her. She's more on the sex repulse side, and she will be like, ew, don't touch me. But when she's in the mood, it's wild. And that's basically how it is. There's a whole range of sexualities spectrum in Ace and Demi, and other categories. I don't know enough about the other categories to speak on them, but this is from my experience and over the community I have met in Ace and Demi. Now, a lot of aces will say that they don't want sex because it's a private matter to them. And yes, if they don't want sex, they don't want sex. That's none of our business to say if they do or don't. There's just a whole range of if they choose to have sex, because that's what it is for a lot of Ace and Demis. It's choosing to have sex. We choose if we want to have sex with you, and it doesn't have to do anything with your with our sexual attraction to you. You can be the ugliest, fuggliest guy, and you would still get some, possibly, if you're a great person that vibes with them. It's basically vibing with someone that you're like, okay, I wouldn't mind having intercourse with you. Basically. For example, my story time is, Sorry. Got a message. Okay, my story time is that I sometimes get slut shamed for being demisexual. I come out, I'm upfront about them. When I had one night stands, and I was like, hey, I'm demisexual. I don't find you sexually attractive, but I still want to have physical sex with you. I didn't say it like that, but you get the gist of it. And I make that clear. We end up doing the deed. I wake up the next morning, and the guys or girls are suddenly like, oh, that was so great. And try to induce that I'm sexually attracted to them now. And they're like, and then they get really offended when you say, no, I'm not sexually attracted to you. I literally used you. I know this sounds bad, to use you to scratch the itch, but that's what a casual hookup is, for me at least. Until I met my partner. Then I'm loyal to her and my toys. Anyways, that is basically what it is. That is what it is. You get slut shamed for being... Sometimes you get slut shamed because they think, oh, you're now sexually attracted to us because we had great, amazing sex. No, that's not how it works. Because yes, straight people, heteroromantic people, and bisexual and lesbians and gays and all that have sex with people they're not necessarily 100% sexually attracted to. And that's okay. You don't have to be sexually attracted to every person you sleep with. Sometimes you just want to have sex. And there's nothing wrong with that. And if you don't want to have sex and you just want to be like the great asexuals and eat garlic breads and cakes and ice cream and sweets and all that, that's great too. Vibe. Be who you are. You want to be a furry that is sex repulsed? Do that too. Legit. We have to break the stigma that asexuals and demisexuals can't have sex, or that they're all sex repulsed. Yes, some of them are. Some of them don't want to have any intercourse. And that is fine. That is fine. But you shouldn't lump other people and then get on people's cases when they say, hey, I'm a demisexual and this is how I am, and then say they're not demisexual or they're writing this character wrong. Because that is where the stigma goes, that we all get lumped into one box. And it goes with other sexualities as well for different things. Like how some people think bisexuals, you have to be 50% like in boys and 50% like in girls. No, with that case, you can be like 1% like in girls and 99% like in guys, or 90% like in guys. And it's up to you who you are as your sexuality. Well, it's not up to you who you are as your sexuality. That's wrong words, but it's up to you how you define yourself and what you see, because it's a wide, not even just asexual and demisexual. There's with panromantic and biromantic and bisexual and pansexual and heteroromantic. There's a wide spectrum of all of it. It's not put into a neat little box that everyone has to match with. I know this went on and it was terribly scattered, but I hope that you all could understand this a bit more and know that, yes, we have, Yes, there is a lot of issues with being stigma as just the people that don't like sex or physically are repulsed by it. Because that's not the case for everyone. And we want to be seen and heard of all the different range we are. And that is fine. It's just accept people for who they are. And if someone's saying that it's asexual, but oh, this is the one problem you don't get wrong. Asexuals do not need to be fixed. It's not they meet this wonderful person and they're suddenly sexually attracted to them. They can be hit in moods, yes. They can choose to have sex with them, yes. But it doesn't always mean sexual attraction. Almost never means sexual attraction. There's even aro ace. I won't get into too much of that, but where they're not more romantically or sexually attracted to anyone. And they just want to be around with people and vibe with people as friends. I suggest going to Jaden Animations for her video on that, because she is Arrow Ace, and she explains it a bit better of why you want people in your life around you for community and stuff. So, thank you for listening to this long rant. I'm probably going to put it at the first video of what it is. So, if any of you found this video and are like, hey, this makes sense, or yeah, this feels like what I am, great for you. Or if you want to write a character that's ace or demisexual or somewhere in that range, hopefully this brought you a little bit more insights and that you now can use it as a reference for ace or demis. Thank you. I hope you all enjoyed, and stay sexy, all my sexy muffins. Bye!